was close to the term so-called engraving or etching. But this particular episode somehow was disturbing me. I shared this with Shanudda, and Shanudda said, try finding figures in the tree. And that is how I started. And today, my works are reflection of what happens around.
Hello, good afternoon. We are at the Jai Jarotia studio in Noida, and we are interviewing artists to talk about their printmaking techniques, their printmaking journey, and their lives as printmakers and artists. We have in the studio today Anandmoy Banerjee.
Hello.
Thank you for coming, and wonderful to have you here. Anand has done his bachelor's in painting
Bachelor's in painting,
yes,
right?
at New Delhi, and then further went to Shantiniketan as well
Or master's in
for
printmaking.
masters in printmaking. So we would like to understand his journey, and my first question to you would be right away. And of course, he's shown across the world. He's shown in India, all over the place, and he has many years of experience. But going back in time, we would like to ask him the question: how did you, when in fact, did you decide that you were going to become a printmaker from being a painter?
I'll just put it in three phases.
All right.
School life was very interesting. We had a lovely school life and lovely art teachers. And I must pay my honor to my first art teacher, Anandmoy Banerjee, to begin when I anyway talk about art.
Which school was this?
I passed from Raisina Bengali High Secondary School, Gold Market,
Okay.
and then went to College of Art in 75. It's true, your question is how that shift was there from painting to printmaking. And as it goes in school days, role of parents to inspire you, role of teachers to inspire you. And one particular happening made me realize that probably I could or I should or I can pursue art. That was Soviet Land Nehru Award. And then when I went to college, at that time in 70s, 80s, Delhi College of Art didn't have printmaking. But when you join College of Art, the system was that 1 year was foundation and 4 years specialization in that time. So my specialization was painting.
Painting.
Yes, it's a very interesting turn now coming up. Jagmohan Chopra left College of Art and went to form Chandigarh College of Art.
Oh.
I was in third year. Our printmaking teachers were Jagdish Day and Jay Sir.
Okay.
I feel good to talk about it because the first name came Jay Sir. And I remember it very categorically that I used to work with Jay Sir in the studio after the college hours also. Slowly things were developing. But to be frank, only 3 weeks in a year as a subject, either printmaking or mural, probably still did not form a very framed idea about me that I was going to become a printmaker. But the line, what I learned from Jay Sir and Dhiraj Sir, Dhiraj Chaudhary, was close to the term so-called engraving or etching. When I started doing it later on, I realized. But it was in my fourth year, at the fag end of fourth year, I had one more year, that is fifth year, we got Anupam Sood as teacher of Delhi College, as teacher of printmaking in Delhi College.
In Delhi.
And that made an impact in my mind. It is not Anupam Sood, no. It is a full-fledged working facility with my teacher for long. And Anupam ma'am's brother would get samosa and tea for us, and we would work, and then she would go back with her brother. And then suddenly things were moving towards something called printmaking. And one particular call from Chandigarh College of Art made it to happen. And that was Carol Summers' printmaking camp, American printmaker. And Jagmohan Chopra sir had decided that, well, let me call one senior student from each college from North India. So they were from Lucknow, from Chandigarh, from there. And I was picked up from Delhi College of Art. And my whole journey with all the group members of Group 8. Let that be Paramjit sir, let that be Umesh sir, let that be Krishna Ahuja sir, let that be Anupam ma'am, and all and rest others with Ranbir Kalekar. They were not part of Group 8, but as Ranbir Kalekar, Shobha Baruta, and also we were going. I was a student. I was just sitting, enjoying with them, and then we walked, all of us. And at the last day, on the last very day, over the party, Jagmohan sir called me and called Anupam ma'am and said, "तेरा ये लड़का student जो है print making कर पाएगा." That word still stays in my pair of ears, drums. And probably this could be the first step, what I now realize, or if I have to impactfully transmit to the others, is probably that day was something like, okay, okay. Then I talked to Anupam ma'am seriously. I remember Jay sir, I talked to Rajesh Mehra sir, I remember it categorically. And most of them suggested me, Anand, ek kaam kar, work in printmaking in Lalit Kala Artist Studios for some number of months or years.
Gadi Studio.
Yeah, Gadi Studio. And then you go, because in Baroda or Shantiniketan, they have printmaking as a department full-fledged. And just to come up to that level and not to miss any accidents, you must prepare yourself. And here comes another name, another two names when I joined Lalit Kala Academy. Devraj was there certainly, but in the form of friends, two first names which are very important. Kunal Sinha, Apte would agree. Kunal Sinha was there as a very interesting character. And then all of us put together. You'll be very surprised, I'm sure. Kanchan was there, Apte was there, Sushant joined a little late. But anyway, this is how the thing started. And then I applied for Baroda and Shantiniketan, both.
Both. And you
After 1.5 years, so second year. And I had also applied for cultural scholarship under Sanatkar.
okay.
So, there is a very interesting story, all young artists know this, that most of the time the admission date of both the institutions fall during the same span of time. And that day, you really didn't have capacity or
To do both.
both,
It's
and then
very hard.
and we couldn't fly. हम तो करोलबाग के लड़के थे भाई, साइकिल में घूमने वाले थे. So I preferred, first choice was I preferred Baroda. But what was told, no one knew. I got call for cultural scholarship also at the same time. Then I am not forgetting, if I am not sure, Kunal only suggested me that try for Shantiniketan if you get, and then you get the cultural scholarship under Sanatkar, because I applied for Sanatkar. And look,
And you can do both.
It happened that way. I got admission and I got the cultural scholarship together.
It's wonderful.
So this is how the travel would follow like a river. And then it is.
And then the magical thing happens that you go to Shantiniketan and you meet all the artists there.
Many magics happen. Many magics happen.
Tell us about the Shantiniketan experience, because we've talked quite a bit about Baroda. So, what was it like studying printmaking there? What were the kind of inspirations that you got and the mentors that you met?
To be frank, my first day was 70% of my experience. I got down, took a rickshaw and was just going to the main Kala Bhavan, thinking about that admission mil jaye. And then suddenly on a slab, Tego's one of the house, there was a slab which says, in Bengali, Ekhono Onkur Jaha Tari Potho Pane, Prottoho Probhate Robi Ashirvadane. So the general meaning, I'm not going to go into the power of, suggestive power of the whole thing on the first day.
The poetic.
It is denoted, denotation, connotation and suggestion. I am not going to talk like that.
Yeah.
But it means that abhi bhi, till now, if you keep on observing a seed, it grows one day. And that feeling state very strongly with me
Hmm.
that I need to grow here.
Hmm.
Probably that feeling got me admission because there were very few seats left for outsiders,
Right.
but I got it. That's God's blessing. This is one which still stays with me because I thought that probably it is Rabindranath Tagore's Ashirwad. But it took me whole 2 years to realize it was Tagore who was writing. So he is writing, এখনো অঙ্কুর যাহা তারি পথ পানে প্রত্যহ প্রভাতে রবি আশীর্বাদ আনে. It's not Robi, what I thought to be Rabindranath Tagore. It was God's son, sun god.
Sun
Rabi,
God.
synonyms, the sun. So that strong feeling stayed with me for 2 years, and that feeling still stays with me. Yeah, it is that particular, perseverance and that particular thing which
That blessing.
actually takes all of us to a particular plateau. But then apart from that, to be frank, the only difference, basic strong difference was, which is of course with any college of art and Baroda and Shantiniketan, that the doors are not locked really. At that time in Shantiniketan, doors were not locked. No studios, except Master Moshai's studio, that is Nandalal Bose's studio. No studio's door have ever been locked.
Yeah.
So you could come anytime and walk anytime. So that was one thing which was very interesting because at times, when we were growing, we all used to play together, sing together, walk together. But it was also true that you could love to do something very silently at a corner. So that was one thing which gave everyone privacy. Let's say at midnight, you could come and walk and go.
Right.
The other person wouldn't know what might have been the technique. The naughty thing could have been also in a different manner. This is a very positive thing, is that you come and use anyone's stones and finish your work, and then in the morning you sleep. There was a guy who used to do that, very famous friend of ours, Dilip Tamuli. Anyway, all these experiences were something more than cubicles. Like in Delhi College of Art, it was from morning to
But
evening.
once somebody did a collaborative work, Rini ma'am had done a little.
No, that's fine. That is.
No. She not intentionally left it there. Bhul gayi.
Okay.
And that student came and took Rini ma'am's, plate and started working on it. And then a beautiful thing came out. And then the student never admitted. But then Rini ma'am said that I was making this plate. I remember you have done something. Come on, quickly tell us the truth. So this is something
if I would have been her student directly, I would have said, ma'am, I still had the courage to continue your quality.
Yeah,
that is how we learn actually. That is how it goes.
That is
how it goes because yes, loving to walk with Shamnadda, Shanudda, Laluda and all of them together, Manida and all. And on top of that, what might have been a very interesting turn in my life as a student when I went from Delhi to Shantiniketan, that is leaving the concrete. Though Delhi was not pure concrete in 70s, still leaving the concrete and then quintessential landscape of Shantiniketan, that might have been a kind of blessing. The other could be the stalwarts, walking with all stalwarts. The third could be really hostel life, which made me learn many things put together. And fourth could be, which is very important, and I admittedly say, the impact of history of art department on every student. So all these things put together, yes. So this is what I could say. I can say about
the Shantiniketan.
And everywhere work of Ram Kinkar, everywhere work of Tagore and all this makes it.
It makes a huge. It's growing up in a kind of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
So then after you finished your college and you came back to Delhi, I'm assuming that you came back to Delhi to work.
Yeah.
And then what was the experience like? The works that I have seen of yours have been the lino carts, the wood carts, not that much of etching actually, and also the calligraphy work also, the screen printing. So tell me about your current body of work.
Well, first of all, one experience that has to be shared is that When I came back, that was end of 85. In between, I had come in 84 after the assassination of Mrs. Gandhi, and I could not recognize one of my friend who happened to be the part of Lalit Kala Academy in Lalit Kala Artist Studios, Gulab Singh.
Okay.
He kept on calling me Anand, 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 and I could not, but that voice was pulling me. And when I went to him, oh, Gulab, then I realized after the massacre, assassination of Mrs. Gandhi, all these swords had to shave off all, all.
Ah, yes.
Why did I mention this? This is very important for, for my journey of art. Before that, I was a landscape artist, a purely landscape artist, influenced from Mahabalipuram rocks to the quintessential landscape of Shantiniketan. But this particular episode somehow was disturbing me. I shared this with Shanudda, and Shanudda said, try finding figures in the tree. And that is how I started. And today, my works are reflection of what happens around me. And medium wise, if you say yes, I have actually worked in all the medium from possibly from lino to the digital. But woodcut had been one of my very fascinating calling medium. Serigraphy is a very calling medium for me. And in very recent years, I have started actually, I would not be using the word punching. I have started, mixing many mediums together because, the journey had been very different at certain point, questioning the extending the parameters of printmaking. Should not be calling a line, drawing a line like traditional printmaking and experimental printmaking.